Good dog, and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, the Norwegian campaign. So, the old dreadnoughts during the naval invasion of Panama were once again engaged by this American task force. We got away once before, thanks to a skilled delaying action performed by these two Ormenlange class DDs. Basically, just throwing torpedoes in the path of the advancing American Navy. But now they've caught up again. Luckily, though, we've got some reinforcements, consisting of the 4 Fridtjof Nansen class battlecruisers and the 2 new Suur Toll class heavy battleships with the quadrupal-superfiring 16-inch guns. So I think this time we can take them on. And I'm excited to see these things in action. So let's go. Let's first organize the fleet. Alright. I think I've got something now. So these DDs just need a little bit of time to actually gather up. But at least I've got them split into different divisions based on class. The single J33 can just do donuts here. These two J43s get ready here. I've got 2 J38s. And I've got 4 Vikings. Let's see, these 4 old dreadnoughts, they can just stay in the background, I guess. These 2 light cruisers, maybe follow the 2 Suur Tolls. Bring in these J43s as well. And the 16s are the first to open fire. Not surprisingly, given their very amazing range. And like so, perhaps. Of course, perhaps the best way to utilize these battleships would be to have them go bow in with all those super firing guns up front, but given that they're operating in a combined fleet here, I guess they will just have to play along for now. And the enemy is closing to within torpedo range of my Vikings. So we're very soon gonna have to pause the game and pick out some torpedo targets. J38's also closing in. And there. J38's not quite in range yet. But they will be soon. Now for the Vikings. The rearmost is not in torpedo range yet of Iowa. A couple of the other ones are. think we're gonna do like that actually. As for my my bigger guns, let's start with the battle cruisers, shall we? They can target the heavy cruisers, while the biggest guns can of course target the battleships. All right. Bring in this J-33 as well. And the 43s can come here. There we go. Those are all my torpedoes from the Vikings. Let's get... actually, I can do multiples here. Like so. J-38s. They're in range now too, with their torpedoes. This should be quite a good torpedo volley, I think. Vikings are getting out. Unharmed, more or less. There we go, we're getting flash fires and multiple torpedo hits on the battleships. But we're not done yet. Turn their torpedoes off, turn them about. We're up to 17 hits, and we're gonna get more. Getting so many torpedo hits that the game is kind of chopping a little bit. .4307, can you turn around? .3301. You're in range here. There we go. 4307 has launched. Hopefully she can get out, because that's a quite expensive DD. The 38s are getting out. And the Vikings have gotten out pretty much unharmed. Despite not being my fastest DDs, the Vikings are so tiny that they're still, I think, the hardest ones to hit. So we've pretty much crippled the Iowa, which now takes another torpedo hits from something. And we're getting more torpedoes aimed at Louisiana, Wyoming. Louisiana probably not going to eat any. Wyoming will, by the looks of things, eat quite a few. 4307 sadly goes down. .38 torpedo hits so far. Mimir, of course, has torpedoes too that she might want to launch. They are, yeah, they are launching. Might get something out of that. Keep the Vikings around for another go. There you go. My battleships are engaging the enemy battleships. Battle cruisers engaging heavy cruisers. Iowa goes down. Love to see it. The enemy is retreating out of range because they're following some of my DDs. Let me go and try and figure out which DD is being followed. Probably J33. .4308 is now in good shape. We're getting more torpedo hits from my cruiser, it seems. So up to 42 torpedo hits. That was a very devastating torpedo attack early on. I have to spur my battle cruisers into action here. Yeah, 3301 is taking fire, so she's probably the one being followed. Louisiana goes down. Excellent. Wyoming is their last battleship now. It is out of range of my battleships, but J33 will soon have her torpedoes reloaded. Speaking of reloaded torpedoes, the Vikings are once again good to go. Meanwhile, my big guns are pummeling their lighter ships, and Fresno will not survive that hit. Big 16-inch shell. for a main belt pen. And here comes the annoying weather. .3301, almost reloaded. Yeah, that's the cloudy weather. We are in torpedo range, so let's just drop those torpedoes. Turn around. And hope that the Wyoming actually sails into them. Maybe not though, because I also want to like drag the American fleet closer towards my own gun line. So if I'm changing course and speed, or at least course, they might as well. So in that case, the torpedoes will miss. But here come the Vikings. And the J-43. No sign of those torpedoes I launched. I think they missed by quite a bit. Let's turn around and send the rest of the torps into the more densely packed enemy formation. There we go. You're good to get out. Now for the Vikings, which have gotten a little bit closer to the enemy than I wanted. We are getting torpedo hits on Wyoming. Excellent. What the? I can't see where I'm looking. There we go. See, that's why I hate this weather. Hopefully I didn't give any like weird move orders. Doesn't look like it. You can target the battleship. Heavy cruiser. Heavy cruiser. Actually, from the back, we're going to target this group here. You have launched, you have launched. You have launched, and you have launched. Alright. So what are we even firing at here? Where are my battle cruisers? They've kind of gotten out of range. There we go. Adding more torpedo hits to the tally. Wyoming still not quite in range. Both my battleships seem to be targeting a destroyer. That is not necessary. You can finish off some heavy cruisers instead. Take Tulsa and Salem first. Huntington isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Let's see, turn these more broadside so that they're at least ready to open a fire when and if the US Navy comes into range. There we go, that's better. Thank you, game. Not quite in range of Wyoming just yet. It's about to go down, but might be able to reload some torpedoes first. Maybe. No. Ah, so close too. Just a couple more seconds and we would have had 16 torpedoes heading out to hit Wyoming. Send the battle cruisers this way. And my secondaries target that DD once I get close enough. How many torpedoes have you taken? 5. For having taken 5 torpedoes, that's not a lot of damage actually. That's pretty pretty decent survivability. Oh yeah, these are the ones with the triple bottom and anti-torp 5. They're... Yeah, okay, yeah, that's how it goes. They have that other class that has a very similar layout. Just they're bigger, have more turrets and Mark IV 20-inch guns. But their torpedo protection is, I guess, what they sacrificed to fit more guns on them. Because this one, this class, the 50,000 ton battleships, forget the class name, but they're the ones with actual decent torpedo protection. I think New Mexico is the new one, the 80,000 ton monsters. Scoring some hits on these heavy cruisers. Vikings are in good shape, but they're all spent. They've got no torpedoes left. Toppen is engaging. Of the older ships, she's the one with the best guns, Mark IVs. Of course, my new battleships are a few levels above that with the Mark V 16s. And Wilmington goes down. Let's not have our battlecruisers sail straight into their death, shall we? There we go, scoring more hits on Wyoming. Pretty good hits too. She may, yeah, nice. She may have the torpedo protection, but not protected well enough to resist my Mark V 15-inch guns. Now I just have to remember not to let my battleships disappear off the battlefield. Now that I'm more directly controlling battlecruisers. Coming in here to save the old dreadnoughts from the direct onslaught of the US Navy. And we're getting in close enough now that the secondaries are joining in. Now I have to watch out for torpedoes, because they may have launched some. So I'm just going to turn this line around. I'm going to throw some torpedoes of my own out there. There you go, from Mimir. Plenty of enemy ships are just ceasing to exist, which is nice to see. I don't think these torpedoes will do much though. They might actually. I think we're gonna get the full river. And got her with one. Nice. Now it's just a matter of cleaning up. That is quite the volley. Let's go bow in, if for no other reason than I want to see it fire all guns aimed straight ahead, almost. There we go. You can't really see much from maybe like that. Maybe like that, yes. Intensifying forward firepower. Roanoke goes down. Not really doing too much to Salem. Take the battlecruisers down to cruising speed. Battleships, you can definitely slow down. You'll probably just hang around. Like here. 8-inch guns are opening up in Albany. Which is having a pretty good effect on target. Salem goes down finally. Albany goes down as well. Yeah, just these two DDs left. Mayo. Can we Cinco the Mayo? I don't think that should be much of a problem. Yep. Some fully penetrating battleship caliber high explosive shells. And the last DD explodes. Nice. So we lost these two quite expensive DDs. both because I got greedy and wanted to do the double torpedo thing, where I first launch out of one side, turn around, launch from the other side, which results in them hanging around too close to the enemy for too long. It's a bit risky. New battleships performed as they should. Battle cruisers too. Ideal matchup for them. Lots of cruisers to snack on. And now it seems there are a lot of convoy battles to deal with. 4 convoys and a battle. Alright. And the Americans have launched a naval invasion here of central Canada. Let's see, what I want to do here actually is send these super battleships over here to the eastern seaboard, because they're fully stocked on ammunition. And I want to see them in action. While these ships, which are not so fully stocked on ammunition anymore, they can head back across the Atlantic here and perform this naval invasion. Okay, I guess I didn't sink that battleship then. Anyway, we need to do something about Russia. And invade northern Russia, I think. So which is the most powerful ship in this task force? I guess UAD? I should be able to deal with that German battleship. Get another battle there. Okay. So we got Ivar and Helga versus St. Louis, or Manchester of the St. Louis class. One 5.1 inch gun. That's not a lot of firepower, is it? That's not a lot of firepower for a light cruiser. So Helga is a an old Brage class light cruiser. She should be able to handle herself here. She can deal with the enemy DDs. Ivar is one of my Jallarhorn class light cruisers. So they're kind of slow-ish for light cruisers, only 24 knots. You can't get that much more speed out of this hull. But they're quite tough. And got decent armor. And very high resistance for a light cruiser. So she should be able to easily win the gunfight with the enemy light cruiser. But first we need to spot them. And sadly, none of these ships have that good tower spotting. They've got radar, of course. But when the base tower spotting stat is kind of low, increasing it by a percentage isn't all that helpful. So we're being spotted. And there is the enemy. There they were. Went invisible. 12.9 kilometer torpedoes, electrics. Let's get my own torpedoes out there just in case. And there's Manchester. Kind of thin armor. And as I said, not too much firepower. We're gonna get any torpedo hits out of this. Probably not. Not something you want to rely on in a skirmish like this. But yeah, we are getting down that enemy cruiser though. Quite easily. And it is Helga doing most of the work. And there goes Manchester. Now let's clean up the DDs. And that will be that. If we can just score some hits here. Keep an eye on enemy torpedo launchers. There, they've launched. So we're gonna turn. And I'm losing my torpedoes now. Zane has now launched. So we're turning again. And Softly has launched. I'm just going to maintain this turn and go around. And now that the enemy has no torpedoes ready, should be fairly safe to getting closer. I thought they had no more torpedoes ready, but that was a lie. So Helga took a couple there. She's afloat though. It's not gonna sink from that. That was a nasty trick you played there, Softly. Do they have like launchers on both sides? I should probably have checked that. No, they're all center line. I guess one of them launched and the other one didn't have an angle, so it was ready for me. And there goes Zane. Oh, that was a nasty surprise for Helga. But win is a win, and she's still alive. And it's not as if a 7,000 ton light cruiser is going to take up all that much repair capacity. Alright, what are next? I can do this one. One Tangrisnir and a Brage class and a J-38 DD versus Lutzow class heavy cruiser, which is protecting 2 transports. And that looks interesting. Let's take a look. So that is the you know, the Super Deutschland type of battle heavy cruiser hull that I do like quite a bit. You can build some nice ships on this. The Germans haven't, though. They've built this instead with 4 single 9-inch guns. Otherwise it's like good enough. That is some decent deck armor for a cruiser. Yeah. I'm gonna sort these guys out first, because this game does not like it when ships of different top speeds are in the same division. Just gets into pure chaos. Ideally they should just or what is supposed to happen, and at least used to happen either in the previous patch or because I was playing vanilla then. I'm not sure if this problem is because of dip or because of 1.7. But what's supposed to happen is that the faster ships just reduce their speed to match the slower ones. And that used to be the case in my previous Chinese campaign. This was not a problem. But here, any kind of even just faster ships following slower ones, it does get it to become a bit of a problem sometimes. Can we even sink this guy with 7-inch guns? Maybe. I can go through the extended belt and superstructure at least. 8 inches of pen. I cannot pen that. Not with this ship. I top out at 6.2 inches of pen at point blank range. 6.9 with this one. But maybe with the power of torpedoes we can make something happen. Does Michael have torpedoes? Michael has decent torpedoes. Just gonna get J38 close enough to guarantee a hit. This is dangerous. Okay. That cost me a DD, but it might cost them a cruiser. No, it did not. Cheeky. And Tangrisnir has now launched her torpedo launchers. And taking flooding and engine damage. Bad luck here. That was a perfectly German cruiser-sized gap in those torpedoes from my DD. UAD has now lost her engine. Or at least one of them. And my guns are not really too effective in dealing with Michael. I saw the enemy torpedoes in time, so that is okay. Can I even get at this convoy? "26 kilometers out." No, I don't think so. Not without risking losing my my cruiser altogether, as they can pen my armor at pretty much any range. I cannot pen theirs at even close range, so we are aborting this convoy attack. It's just not worth it. Not when I risk losing a quite expensive light cruiser. So whatever is on these transports got to its destination. Yeah, that cost me a DD, but that's not too bad. Let's see, 3 more convoy battles. Also, I want to start a naval invasion here of South Honshu. There we go. Yes. Hopefully I can take it before the American army marches in and takes North Honshu. Would be nice to have this island here like, safely mine. So the remaining convoy battles are heavy and light. Well, it's an old heavy and an old light versus what looks to be a pretty new heavy cruiser. And then here, 2 lights versus 2 lights. Lübeck. Another 2 Lübeck. Let's do this one and then say that's enough for this episode. I'd kind of forgotten I still had some of these in service. Might be old, but at least it has proper heavy cruiser guns. Which is not the case with the enemy heavy cruiser, which only had like 6-inch or so. It's a night fight though. Hawaii, 6.2-inch guns. Take a closer look. Singles. And it's got 7 of them. But still. And single 4.7s. Secondaries. Lots of torpedoes. 10 tubes per side. And decent armor. Yeah, I can outrange them pretty comfortably. Which is, hello? Barbette? What? What happened to my barbette? I mean, if the gun works floating like that, then whatever, but it looks kind of weird. Let's dump some torpedoes in the water and see if maybe they make it over there. You never know, might get lucky. And I think we might get lucky here. Yeah, we got lucky. Have they launched though, or just lost all their torpedoes? Hard to say. I think they've just lost their torpedoes because, well, they have no left. It's not as if they're all on reload, but they might have launched before that happened. Because we were well within their torpedo range. think we're gonna get the Hawaii. Just a little bit more flooding on the stern. And that should do it. Now, this poor thing is crippled. Tower is out, engines are out. No more torpedoes, and heeled over too much to fire her guns. Here we go, we're loading AP now. Which means we're getting a little bit more of that flooding. And that should be it, yes. And with that, that should be enough for this episode. I'll see you again next time to play these last two convoy battles. And also probably to design something, I think. Because I've realized that I need one more 25-knot battleship for this division here. And I like it to have, you know, decently big guns. Because here we've got, I got 17s on all of them. But how about something bigger? Anyway, that's it for now. Goodbye, and take care.